What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to voice and air my experience that I had with 3M and why I'm never ever going to use them ever again. My experience with 3M was, to say the least, brutal. It was, I could say many other things. So let's start off with the problem that I have with the vinyl. The 1080 series 3M Satin Caribbean Shimmer. So I was installing it and I did a video on installing it. And for those of you who gave me suggestions and took the time to answer in the comments below, thank you very much. I did try everyone's techniques. I tried pre-stretching, I tried no heat, no tension, heat, everything that I could possibly do, not repositioning it at all. I'm on my second roll right now, and it was like pulling teeth, like literally pulling teeth, and 3M still didn't give me that roll. I want to thank ND Graphics, because ND Graphics was phenomenal. They helped me out, and I really appreciate that. So the distributor, third party, ended up reaching out to me and hooking me up with a free roll in hopes that it would be better than the last one. Now, ND Graphics can be found here in Toronto, in Vaughan. They sell Avery, 3M, Oracle, a bunch of other brands, sell a lot of stuff. Check them out. Honestly, excellent customer service from what I just had and them reaching out to me. My issue is with the rep in Ontario. So there's a couple, not just one from my understanding. The one that I was reaching out to, I sent that gentleman 3 or 4 emails. I had one response out of them, and that was the first day when I was just asking simply if the film was directional, because I couldn't actually find, in the data sheet that I had found online, I couldn't find if it was directional or not. I figured it was, just wanted to double check anyways. Just because it's a wide body, I wanted to make sure that I'm doing my best to make sure everything stays as straight as possible and that the flares and everything all matches up. So, because if I stretch the vinyl down around the flares, that changes the direction, and so on and so on and so on. So I just wanted to make sure it was actually directional. Anyways, answer me back the first day. Then I believe it was 4 emails total. 3 emails later, I emailed him and then called and left a voicemail. And finally, about maybe 2 hours, 3 hours after the voicemail, didn't call me back, just emailed me back with reasons that he didn't even have experience with himself. So I told him that I'm getting glue lines in the vinyl. That was the issue, and I asked him if he knew a solution. And he says he's never heard of this before. How ironic, right? So someone who, I guess, who's been working for that company for quite a few years apparently, has never heard of glue lines with 3M. And sure enough, I have this in the email, by the way, and sure enough, in what he basically copy and pasted from 3M Tech, technical support, I suppose, 3M Tech is what it said, it talks about glue lines. What do you know? The guy doesn't know how to do his job, because if he hasn't read that, then there's a problem there. If you're a representative for a brand, you should know what brand you're selling and the characteristics of what that brand does and has and everything else. So not only that, so I won't get ahead of myself here. So what I'm going to talk about is, I was asking for a solution, right? And he just copy and pasted some stuff, said he'd never heard about glue lines, whatever, and which was kind of a little disturbing that he had never heard of glue lines. And then copies the thing over from 3M Tech, and I was looking for a solution. I'm like, is there a solution to this? Like, so all he did was copy over and paste what 3M Tech said, or whatever's posted at 3M Tech. I don't even know if he actually asked anyone or just did some research himself. But he didn't give me a solution. There wasn't like, you should try doing this, or you should try doing that, or you should, whatever. It was just literally point form, bullet points. Won't put tension on the vinyl. Don't stretch the vinyl. Like, I mean, like, come on. So I was a little bit disturbed, and you know, I was pretty certain that there's an issue with the roll. So I asked him. I said, "Can I please exchange the roll?" I asked this in two of the 3 emails afterwards, at least twice, maybe all three times. I don't know. Never a word on being able to exchange the roll. All I wanted to do was exchange it. I wasn't trying to look for a handout, like, or anything like that. You know, what's really, guys? What's it going to cost the company? $50? Like, maybe less? Like, who knows? Like, you know, I'm not just doing this out of my garage. But even if you are, you don't treat people like that. You don't make somebody work with something that they're not really happy with. You know, I would never leave a panel on a car that maybe didn't look as good as it should and my customer wasn't happy with it, and have them drive around with it being all unhappy. How rude is that? That's actually just the rudest thing. So the amount of cost that's going to take me to rewrap a panel is probably actually more than it would cost them for that roll of material. So not only that, so I'm stuck here rewrapping half a car, and I mean, there's no understanding whatsoever, anything at all coming from his side. And he tells me that I need to go to 3M school, basically. 3M school, 3M training, whatever, and it's not until February. So it's not until February, something like that, January or February. So I'm supposed to leave this car here until January, February. Interesting. So that's a great solution to the problem. Again, from everybody who's been watching the last video, I mean, there's like 400 thumbs up and like 8 thumbs down, and about 20,000 views, and everyone agrees the 3M film is having an issue. There's a Range Rover sitting right here. It's nearly finished. There isn't a single glue line on the damn thing. I did half of it, and one of the other guys did the other half, and there's no glue lines on this thing. It's wrapped in 3M satin dark gray. So I don't know if it's, I mean, this is a satin. I don't know if it's particular to a certain color section of 3M or what, but there's a problem with the films, and there's no denying that. Look in the comments below in the video that I'm going to post in the corner if you're still watching any of the 3M people that work there, because watch that video and read the comments below, because the comments are, maybe they're not your biggest customers, maybe they're not spending millions of dollars a year, but they're customers, and there's a lot of very unhappy people out there. On top of that, you have, I'm not going to say any bad words, but you have people like the representative who handled my situation in Ontario dealing with things the way he did. Unacceptable. I mean, if anyone talked to any of my customers that way, I would fire them. So you guys do what you want to do. I don't really care. Again, it was demeaning. He acted like I had never wrapped a car in my life, and I had no idea what I was doing. And that's embarrassing, because I can wrap a car. I'm wrapping the Mercedes S63 behind in Hexus Black Chrome. I've never used Hexus Chrome before, and what do you know? It's going down really nice. And you're gonna tell me that 3M is more difficult to get, 3M 1080 is more difficult to get down than a Chrome? Because that's actually absurd. So the disappointing part about all of this right now is that my customer from Boston, he doesn't want to choose another color. I don't blame him. This is what he wants, and he's coming back. I'm going to strip this. I'm going to strip this off. What's on it right now? I've removed the door. I've left on the panels that are there right now because he wants to see them in person before I take them off. Bumper's got to go back on, all that stuff. So all the work that I invested in this, all the time that I invested in this, and all the time that he spent coming here, you know, I'm going to refund him. Of course I'm going to refund him. Again, he's still at a loss, and I'm still at a loss. And 3M just doesn't give a crap. That's it. You know, that's pretty much it. They don't care about you. They don't care about us. They don't care about me. the color change department in 3M is not necessarily a big money maker. I get it. Commercial graphics and print films and everything else is definitely making them way more money than color changing. This is a growing industry, and they're just like, we're gonna put out some colors, and we just want a piece of the pie. That's about it. Whatever percentage it might be, that's about it. They don't give a damn. There's no caring. There's none of that. You know, you do color changes. Pfft. Man, if I was doing fleets, I bet you if I was doing like fleets, commercial wraps, that would have been a different story. But I'm doing color changes. Anyway, something that that I've been dealing with, and I'm very upset about. I'm upset for the customer, my customer. We did work together. I mean, I worked to try to find him something from someone else. We did find another color that was similar but not quite the same from Oracal. Again, we don't have a large enough sample, and he's never seen it on a car, so he didn't want to just settle. You know, don't settle. I mean, if you can't get what you want, don't settle. Get your money back or whatever, and you know, maybe you're going to change your mind and discover something else later on. But again, my whole complaint here is about how the representative at 3M handled the situation, and you know, I'm thankful for companies like ND Graphics who reached out to me. They just called me, and honestly, I spent an entire day, whole day, calling, emailing, looking for like higher up in the chain and all kinds of stuff, reaching out to other installers, or like, honestly, and then someone from ND Graphics just gives me a shout and hooks me up with a roll, and that was pretty amazing. I didn't even have to return the other one. How crazy is that? Not that I want it, but what I'm going to do is give what I have to my customer. It's the least I could do. This guy, he trailered his car all the way here from Boston. He's gonna fly in, pick it up, drive it back with just a hood wrap, because I'm gonna leave him that. I mean, I'm not, you know, he wants it, he likes it, and it's the least I could do for him. So anyways, guys, just gotta let you know what my concern here is, and how I've been feeling, and why I'm never going to use 3M ever again. I had a customer walk in here today. He's a Jaguar F-Type. He wanted 3M frozen vanilla. I think it's like a satin, or like a satin metallic or matte metallic. It's white with gold flake, basically. Talked him out of it. I didn't necessarily talk him out of it. I just told him about 3M, and then he had his Jaguar wrapped already, and it had glue lines on it in satin dark gray, and it had glue lines on it. Funny, huh? Because this Range Rover has no glue lines on it. I'll show you this Range Rover afterwards. But yeah, he had it wrapped in satin dark gray, and he's like, you know, it had glue lines on it. It had a lot of them. And then so I bring him into the shop, and I show him what's on the Challenger behind me, and you know, he sees them. He's like, yeah, my car had a lot of those. So what are we going with? We're going with Avery Satin White, and he's happy with Avery Satin White. It's a little bit more plain, doesn't have the metallic flake in it. I honestly would prefer the satin white over the one with the little bit of gold flake in it. To me, it's more my style. Again, everyone's got their personal preference. I didn't want to talk him out of the color. I said, hey, you know, if this is what you want, this is what you want. But then I showed him some other options, and I let him decide on what he wanted for himself. But to bring attention to what the finish of the vinyl is beforehand, if you can actually do that, it's great. You know, let your customers know what to kind of expect with different brands, different finishes and stuff like that. Because as you grow in experience, you're going to start to know, and it's fair to let them know. Anyways, guys, sorry if I rambled on there a little bit. Let's check out the Range Rover. I'm not going to show you the S63 yet. It's over there. I'm wrapping the other side of it. So let's check it out. So I'm going to show you a couple of key points. I mean, it's a fairly flat vehicle. It's not crazy. So for here, I lifted the vinyl up, and I laid it in to this recess. Okay, so there's no glue line anywhere. A single glue line anywhere. So that's repositioning one. Okay. Two. I have to get around this bend, and I have to heat and stretch. Where are the glue lines? No glue lines after heating and stretching. So this proves another point. Same thing, heating and stretching. Those got to be cut out. So otherwise on this, it's pretty straightforward vehicle. I mean, I have a fender here with some curve on it. I see banding. So if you guys want to know what banding is, can you see those lines that run vertical? That's banding. It might not be as noticeable outside. I haven't seen it outside yet, so. Right? No glue lines. Cool. Bumper. Heating and stretching and pulling and everything else that's going on here. No glue lines. It's crazy. They're going to deny that the vinyl isn't bad. All right, so let's check it out right here. Okay, this is one pass with the squeegee. This is another pass with the squeegee, and this is flat. Okay, this panel was glassed out. So there's two passes with the squeegee. Just happened to leave random glue lines. Then I got a couple of really weird ones there for no reason. I've got a couple right around here, right there, running in a direction that doesn't even make any sense, because if I was to reposition the vinyl, I would pull it back to here and it would hit here and the glue line would be running vertical. But instead, this glue line is running across. In here. Right there. Right here. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to push through right away in one shot. That's what I did. And I even wrapped this fender, this rear quarter panel, twice. So anyways, that's the rear quarter panel. And it's just super disappointing, guys, honestly. Thomas, I'm sorry that you're not getting your car wrapped and that you got to travel all the way back here. It's disturbing, and I'm going to make sure that this mistake never happens again. The funny thing is that I would have probably used, or let the customer just not even really. I probably would have used 3M. I wouldn't have even shown him anything else. If he wanted 3M for the frozen vanilla, I would have just let him choose that. I would have told him about the glue lines and stuff like that, and I probably wouldn't have shown him anything else. But again, I want to give people other options, because the option that you're left with when you use this stuff is that this can happen. So I can go out there and I can rewrap. I can go out there and I can buy a roll and I can bring it here and I can wrap a panel, and then I have an issue. Then I try and wrap the panel again, and I still have an issue. Then I get a new roll, then I have an issue. How many times can I rewrap a panel? Because that becomes very costly and not efficient and not effective in any way whatsoever. It delays the wrap. So not only does it delay the customer from picking the vehicle up, but it costs the shop money and it costs people money. So if you're looking to get it done real quick, and it's really not the way to go. Every brand does get an extent of glue lines, don't get me wrong, okay? There's just a difference between the glue lines that you get with anything else and what you get when you're using 3M. And again, it's not on all the 3M products, because I have a perfectly flawless Range Rover sitting right there. So you guys tell me what you think if you're still watching. Again, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. See how many it gets this time. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. See how many it gets this time. I'm always interested, guys. And yeah, stay tuned for the S63 in the Hexus Chrome, because it's going to look outrageous. You should already see it. The other side's almost done. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Take care.